Ladies and gentlemen, I seek your round of applause as I invite His Excellency, the Governor of Governors, the hopeful candidate of the People's Democratic Party to turn around this country like River State, His Excellency Chief Nyesom Ezenwo Wike, CON, GSS ROS, Power of Sports Africa. Put your hands together for His Excellency. You are welcome, my Lord.
The problem we have in Nigeria is that nobody wants to leave office. Head of service, he forgets that by May 29th, when I'm leaving, he will also go. So all these praises and praises, you will go the day you will go. Your Excellencies, my dear brothers, governors that are here, Your Excellency, the celebrant, and your dear husband, the chairman of today's occasion, my lords, justices of Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Court, Industrial Court, let me particularly recognize the Emir of Lafia and the chairman, Nasarawa Traditional Rulers Council, the Chief Judge of the River State, Speaker and members of distinguished senators, their traditional rulers led by our chairman of Traditional Rulers Council, my dear wife, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, the celebrant, let me make a complaint. Whoever prepared the documentary, I refuse to know that you are honored by this state as the single service star of River State. Please, when you are putting all the titles of Her Excellency, when you put Justice of Supreme Court, Commander of Federal Republic, also put the single service star of River State, DSSRS. And if you deliberately did not put it, you won't get. If you refuse to put it, whoever prepared it, I will not honor you. So better go and correct it so that I will honor you. It is not easy for people to be honored by their state. The husband is Grand Service Star of River State. She is Distinguished Service Star of River State. Your Excellency, if you look around, we stopped using this hall since last year, September. I said nobody will use this hall until Julius Berger finishes, and the first person we will honor to use this hall will be your retirement, because River State has a lot of respect for you. And so this is the first day we are using this building because of the respect we have for you. Yesterday in the church, I was told to address the state. I said no, I will not address the state. Rather, I was given the opportunity to give vote of thanks on behalf of my mother. And so I gave vote of thanks. Today, I'm just to unveil the 5 books that have been compiled in her honor. So I'm here as the chief unveiler of those books. So don't expect me addressing the state. We have the state banquet today, and that is where the state will make statement. So what I'm going to do here is to unveil the books. But before I unveil the books, it gives me the opportunity to also make some contributions as regards the judiciary. Yesterday night, I went to some of my colleagues to congratulate our father and the wife who is the celebrant. In congratulating them for a wonderful Thanksgiving and our inability to join them at home, I hinted to my mother. I have said before, I have never called her my Lord. I have always called her mommy. So I'm going to say something that may be good, may not be good, depending on the way you look at it. On Thursday, during the valedictory, the CJN spoke glowingly again in favor of the celebrant. The body of benchers, the body of student advocates also spoke, which were represented by Wole Olanipepe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and raised some issues which are very fundamental. The president of the Nigerian Bar Association also spoke and raised some vital issues. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Malami, spoke. The representative was the Permanent Secretary and Solicitor General of the Ministry of Justice. Now, if you listen to what all they said, most of the problems were being centered on politicians, and there we have no right of reply. So now we have an opportunity. It is also good to put it on record. This is our own view. And so that when you go home, you look at all. You blame this, you blame this, you blame this, and you blame this. All of us, we all are problems of this country. We all are problems of this country. It is not only politicians, it's not only executive, it is not only judiciary, it's not only legislature. So we must have to find a way, not when we gather, we begin to praise the judiciary during validatory section, and when it is time to take action to defend judiciary, nobody will be there to do it. So you give me an opportunity, just 3 minutes, not much. 3 minutes. Since they gave my colleague governor 3 minutes, the other good women said it's 3 minutes. As a chief host, I should be giving you more than 3 minutes. But if you say that should be equal, everybody should be equal, I will agree. But from what I've seen, it's like the audience have allowed me to take 5 minutes. So let me take 5 minutes. Let me welcome you to this event, which has been put together to celebrate the launch of this book. Books written in honor of one of the best jurists in this country. And we're happy that whether you say state of origin is Imo, state of marriage is River State, that is their business. As far as we are concerned, it's River State. She's not going anywhere again. So all those who are trying to take credit of state of origin, forget it. This is where she comes from. She's not going back again. As already elaborated by the reviewer, these books capture the extraordinary lives, times, career, challenges, and accomplishments of Honorable Justice Mary Audley, who broke through glass ceilings and used her education and knowledge in law to serve Rivers State as the First Lady, to serve Nigeria and humanity. So much was said about her life, career, discipline, industry, personal integrity, high moral rectitude, and achievements during the valedictory court section in Abuja on the 12th of May, 2022. Her brother, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed aptly described her as an epitome of jurisprudential finesse and an irrepressible voice in the temple of justice. End of quote. The relationship between her Justice Mary Odili and the family, myself and my wife, is a very long story which will be difficult to exhaust. I would therefore only concentrate on what I've said before in course of this to respond to some of the important statements made by Chief Wole Olanipegun, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and the President of Nigerian Bar Association, Olumide Akpata, regarding the depressing state of the judiciary in Nigeria. As the third arm of government, the judiciary is required to be independent and never to be bound howsoever to any person or authority other than our Constitution in the discharge of its functions of adjudication and delivery of justice. Judicial officers are mandated to uphold the rule of law, protect fundamental rights, and dispense justice to all persons without fear or favor, ill will or affection. This is why every democratic nation craves for an independent and effective judiciary to advance the rule of law as an integral part of good governance. What is generally required is for the country to secure and strengthen the independence and autonomy of the judiciary and judges through constitutional guarantees and provisions on security of tenure, mode of appointment, and remunerations, and well-being of judicial officers. The 1999 Constitution is not lacking on such fundamental guarantees. Yet, after over 20 years of democracy, the judiciary in Nigeria is generally perceived to be practically dependent, intimidated, ineffective, and easily given to corruption, pressures, and compromise. Accordingly, the problems and challenges of the Nigerian judiciary continue to be topical issues at every formal gathering of lawyers, judicial event, or discourse, and may remain so until lasting solutions are found to the deplorable state of our judiciary and the system of justice delivery. What then are the issues with our judiciary and justice delivery system? Where do we place responsibility, and how do we resolve the recurrent issues as a nation so that Nigerians can have a judiciary they can be proud of and have confidence in the capacity of the largely inequitable system of justice delivery? While speaking for the body of senior advocates during the validating court section in honor of my Lord Justice Mary Peter Odili, Chief Wole Olanipegun, senior advocate, identified corruption as the bane of the Nigerian judiciary and pointed fingers of responsibility at politicians, lawyers, and the federal government. According to him, political cases are responsible for the tagging of the judiciary as supermarket, just as lawyers engage in despicable forum shopping to secure unmerited favorable court decisions, while the current federal government is guilty of harassment of the judiciary. That is Wole's view. With due respect, the National Advocate is largely correct with respect to the issues of forum shopping by lawyers and intimidation of the courts by the federal government, but wrong in his allusion to political cases as responsible for the debasement of Nigerian courts. Like every other case, political cases are conducted before courts through lawyers who are professionally and ethically bound to denounce and reject the casting of any aspersions on judges by their clients. Now, if I be asked, are lawyers not behind the contemptuous criticisms of judges by clients? How many lawyers have withdrawn from political cases in protest against unwarranted castigation of the courts by clients? How many lawyers have withdrawn their services to clients on account of frivolous petitions against the court without their consent? Who are those who advise politicians to reach out to the judges? Where are the lawyers that have ever advised their clients against reaching out to judges handling their matters? A very good case in point. I went to Zamfara State. I came back around 7:30 in the night. Around 8 p.m., I tuned in AIT News. What did you see on the television? People were protesting, carrying leaves, telling the Chief Justice of Nigeria to warn the justices who sat on the matter between Rivers State and Imo State on national television. Now, who is the lawyer of those people? A senior advocate, a member of the body of the inner bar. What action did he take to protect the integrity of the judges and the court? So it is not enough. In every validatory section, in every occasion we find ourselves, we come to begin to pontificate. The problem is this. The problem is this. But you who is pontificating, what actions have you taken to make sure the court is being protected? I would have felt that that senior advocate would have called his client to say, listen, if this is what I'm seeing, please come and take your file. I will not do this matter again. Then you can stand to say that politicians, people castigate lawyers and this. Your clients are doing it, and you're a senior advocate, a member of the inner bar, and yet you're still defending the same people. So we should stop this attitude of validated session, body of senior advocates, MBA chairman, then you come, you talk and talk and talk. That is the end of the matter. Secondly, for me, let us stop this scapegoating and tell ourselves the whole truth that as lawyers, most of us are involved in this despicable conduct, perpetrating the same evil, only at different levels because of our predisposition for success through back doors without any regard to the damage we are doing to the reputation of the entire judicial system. Also speaking, along a similar theme at the same court session, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olumide Abata, blamed poor remuneration for judicial officers as a major challenge to judicial effectiveness, while the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, commended the judiciary for contributing to the sustenance of democracy through its landmark judgments. There was nothing not surprising about these comments because it is usually fitting for such occasions for routine speakers to play to the gallery with their speeches. And so, the president of the NBA was merely playing to the gallery with his complaint about poor remuneration as a problem without making any viable recommendation on what he considers to be a reasonable paycheck for judicial officers. At any rate, as a member of the National Judicial Council, NJC, why can't the NBA president discourage the practice of allocating more judicial appointments by NJC to states with less capacity to cater to the well-being of judges and less number to the states with the wherewithal and commitment to do so? Let me explain this. We all know that as a member of NJC MBA, State A, you know State A very well. You know that it has always been said that State A cannot even pay salaries of workers. Now, why do you go and say, allocate 10 judges for appointment, when you know that state cannot even provide ordinary housing for the judges? Then you allocate to me, who has the commitment and who can give the houses. You give me 2. But you're a member of your NJC, MBA. Why not condemn it? You have an opportunity. Yeah, you won't do it. It's only during validatory section that all these things will come up. What is even worrisome on the part of the president of MBA is his failure to admit that MBA, including the inner and outer bar, which it is, has failed in their responsibility to protect the rule of law and defend the judiciary from punitive intimidation and erosion of its independence by this federal government. By this federal government. Never in the history of Nigeria, even under the military, has the judiciary been intimidated like the way they're intimidated by this federal government. Never in the history. So it is not enough for MPA to say we condemn. We are tired of condemnation. Every day, we MBA, we condemn this action taken. Go beyond condemnation and let the government know you are serious. You must protect the judiciary. So, Mayor coming to address press conference, we members of the inner bar, we members of the MBA, we condemn this attitude. It will not work. It will not. I'll tell you the solution, how it will work. It is quite unfortunate that the MBA is only good at issuing statements of condemnation without more, while the judiciary continues to suffer ferocious bouts of harassment from a federal government that has become notorious for its contemptuous attitude towards the rule of law and the rights of Nigerians to an effective justice delivery. Lest we forget, in 2016, when the federal government unleashed premeditated midnight raids on judges' homes, including the late Justice Nguda of the Supreme Court, in Port Harcourt, Justice Liman, the MBA only issued the usual tipping statements without any strong protest. In 2018, we're all there in this country. Something that has never happened. It happened. It happened. What did the MBA do? Because we have brought ethnicity in Nigeria, we have brought religion into Nigeria, in everything we are doing, it is either you are from here or you are from here. If anything happens now, and I'm the president, and if you want to take an action that will affect the federal government, you see somebody say, well, you see, we have to be careful. You see, the president, you see, from our side. We are talking about Nigeria. We are not talking about where the president comes from. We are talking about what affects Nigeria and what to make Nigeria to be good, to be great. Nothing will happen, nobody will talk. Or, you know, he's a Muslim, or he's a Christian. And then all of us will not say anything. Then tomorrow you say, the problem, politicians. The problem, politicians. Every problem is politicians. The politician is the head of court. Is the politician the head of court? I will come to that one. In 2020, when the Supreme Court gave judgment in Bayelsa State, youths went to Justice Audley's house and blocked the gate. A panel of justices of Supreme Court gave a judgment simply because that judgment is against a particular party. And people went to the court of the Justice of the Supreme Court, who incidentally presided over the matter. What happened? What did MDA do? What did MDA do? What did the body of Sudan Book? What did they do? Nothing. Mere statement. We condemn. We condemn. We are tired of their condemnation. Take action. We're tired. If we don't want to solve the problem of the country, let us say we don't want to solve the problem. And that is why people have the audacity to so go again to the same justice house to even either to kidnap her or kill her. And I can tell you the truth, assuming they succeeded, nothing would have happened. Nothing. All we set up a full panel of inquiry to find out those who committed that atrocity when the person had died. What did the NBA do? In Pakistan, government took an action. The whole lawyers came, said no way, shut down the whole place. And government had no choice but to sit down to say, look, we can't continue this way. That is the way things are done. And we're just tired of this year. Every day we have our annual conference, we have this conference. I told them I will never attend any conference again because there's nothing to conference. Nothing to conference. What is that to conference? Nothing. The conferencing to some of us or to some of them is to have opportunity to go out and tell their wives we have conference. They go and enjoy themselves. That is how the whole thing has been reduced to. So you don't go and take an action that, look, this is what we are supposed to do. We cannot allow this government to continue to do what they're doing. If I was not around that night that they came to raid Justice Lima's house, and nobody knows, anything could happen, and then maybe the man kidnapped, then they will say, look, we have told you so much insecurity in Rivers. Meanwhile, who are those who came to do that? Security agencies. Probably, if they have succeeded in kidnapping our mother or doing anything harm to her, you would have said, oh, the level of insecurity in Abuja, everybody should be careful. Meanwhile, who are those who are doing this insecurity? Security agencies. Look at the story. Tell you left, tell you right. So, it is not proper. Ours should not be different, like what has happened in Pakistan. The NBA lackluster approach to social change is more of a disservice to the nation and exposes it to contempt as lawyers' body that stands for nothing noble. It must take a cue from the activist posture of the Pakistan Lawyers Association and get transformed into formidably united social force for justice and the rule of law, for it to be taken seriously as relevant element in the Nigerian legal profession. As I said earlier, it was fitting for the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to have commended the Nigerian Judiciary. But this was a sharp hypocrisy, as the records show that even the worst of military regimes did not subject the nation's judiciary to the horrifying and debasing experience of the present federal government. The question is, what have the federal government done to enhance and strengthen the independence of the judiciary and delivery of effective justice in the last 7 years? What have they done to improve the working environment and service conditions of federal judicial officers? What have they done? Not to come to the valedictory, to commend you for your judgment sustaining democracy. Yes, they have done that, but what have you done to improve on the independence? What have you done for the working environment? So, you people too should stop accepting this. They come, they read, and they tell you how good you are. Let them not be coming there to tell you how good you are. They should go and put it in practice in order to accept you, to say this is what they have done. Until it was struck down by the Supreme Court, what they could come up with was the infamous Executive Order 10, which they were to deploy to unlawfully seize state funds under the guise of enforcing financial autonomy for the judiciary at the level of the states. However, contrary to their posturing, Executive Order 10 was an instrument of blackmail against the states, and the Supreme Court was right and helpful in cancelling and throwing it into the dustbin of history, because it would have caused more harm than good to the state's judicial system. We should not also lose sight of the fact that the judiciary is also a problem to itself when it is weak and incapable of asserting and safeguarding its independence from the predatory tendencies of the other arms of government. When judges are lacking in courage and integrity, they easily give up to improper pressure, influence and control, and the entire judiciary suffers and retrogression when heads of courts fail to judiciously spend and account for funds released to them to fund their capital and overhead. I can tell you what happens. Heads of courts are giving money. Yes, the money may not be enough, but ask them too. The money you have been given, what have you used it for? What have you used it for? Yes, you blame government, we agree. We blame lawyers, we agree. You yourself, that you are the head of court, the one that have been made available to you, tell us what you have done with it. No money can be enough, no money can be enough. But tell us, because what the heads of court do, because the judges, the staff have no access to us. They tell you, you know, the executive have not released money. Then you continue to abuse us. It's not correct. Sometimes, in most cases, like in my own state, monies are released every month, every month, every month, every month. So if I go to a court, sometimes I sit in the house, I say, let me go to court. I go to court, and the air conditioner is not working. I call the chief judge. Chief judge, what's happening now? No air conditioner in that court. What about the money I'm releasing? He has to tell me. Some people say, why do you go to court? I say, I'm not going to court just to listen to cases. So I go and find out what they are doing with our money we are releasing to them. So while you are blaming the government too, you also blame your own self. Don't blame us, politicians. The little one we have given, use it too, and people will see what you have done with it. By and large, the problems of our judiciary and the solutions thereof are known. What is needed therefore is a leader with the political will, capacity, and courage to ensure that they are sustainably resolved and the judiciary strengthened and repositioned to serve the best interests of the nation. Just as we have done in Rivers State under my watch, I will respect and protect the independence of the federal judiciary as co-equal arm of government with the executive and legislature, and give practical expression to its financial and administrative autonomies if I'm given the charge, by the grace of God, to be the president in 2023. You know, Governor Otom is here, Udom. You have no opportunity to come and talk here. It's only me, so don't bother. So go and do your own retirement, then you can talk. So this is my own retirement. We will ensure prompt release of capital expenditures to the heads of court, but not without severe consequences for lack of transparency and accountability in the utilization of such funds, as those found wanting will both be dismissed and assets acquired will such funds cease. As no government can truly address judicial corruption without first improving the conditions of service for judicial officers, the NJC should not appoint judges for states unless they have made provisions for decent houses with certificates of occupancy for all prospective judges. Because if you are appointing a judge, let the judge know this is my home, and give the judge the certificate of occupancy, so that I can guarantee, give the judge confidence that I have a home to retire, I have shelter. Don't be approving when this stage comes. We want 5 judges. I agree. Go and show all the houses and the CFO of such judges. If not, do not approve any appointment for states who do not want to afford. Look, how do you fight the corruption? How do you fight the corruption? Take, for example, look at the retired chief judge, a justice of the Supreme Court, retiring. If God did not bless the husband, where is the home? Where is she going to? Where is the home? She's in the husband's house. Look at my wife. If she retires without me, which house? No, so you must, because I can't understand how a justice of the Supreme Court will not have a home when he's retiring, how a judge of Court of Appeal will not have a home when he's retiring, how a judge of High Court cannot have a home. Okay, go and fight the corruption. Go and fight the corruption. A permanent secretary, they have houses. Commissioners, they have houses, they build houses. Only a judge cannot have a house. No, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And these are the things I expect. These are the things I expect the MPA to fight, not to say we condemn. These are the things you should fight, not every day condemn. Condemn. What are you condemning? Finally, I wish to commend the contributors to this book for their well-researched works and the topical issues they so copiously and impressively address. Now it's my turn now to do the work I was told to come and do. The other one is just introduction. So I will invite all my colleagues and the celebrant and the husband, the chairman of the occasion, and the representative of the Supreme Court to come and join me, my dear wife, come and join me to unveil these books. Now, when they brought the invitation letter, the committee came and said, it's not good for you to be the one. I said, who would do it? Who would do it? He said, can't we invite another person? I said, look, God didn't make a mistake that I will be governor when she'll be retiring. So I will do it by myself. I will do it. So I told them, go and wait for your own turn. When you become governor, let's have a justice of Supreme Court or Court of Appeal that will retire when you are governor. Now I'm governor, and she's retiring. Retiring at the time I'm going to be the president of Nigeria. How do you want me to? So on behalf of my friends, my colleagues who have discussed before we came, my Lord, what you and your husband have done for all of us who have served, there's nothing we can do that's enough. Nothing that we can do that is enough for you and your husband. So, and you can see how God works. Nobody has retired and have had this number of governors that came. Unfortunately, you see how the good things are. See my good friends here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one. He's supporting his uncle. He's supporting his uncle. This one. President. So on behalf of my friends, governors, we will unveil these books with a sum of 200 million naira.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for His Excellency, accompanied by their Excellencies. And His Excellency will be joined by his dear wife, the Honorable Justice Eberechi Suzette Nyesom Wike, and the celebrant, the Lord, the Honorable Justice Mary Peter Odili, and His Excellency, the former Governor, His Excellency, Sir Dr. Peter Odili, and the chairman of this August event, Chief, the Honorable OCJ Okocha, MFR, SAN, for the unveiling and presentation of the book.
Where's my wife? Come on. Yeah.
Yes, the fireworks.
To the glory of God, on behalf of my colleagues, we unveil these 5 books compiled in honor of our mother, Justice Mary Ukego Peter Odile, in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.